Okay, you guys, thank you all for coming out. We're gonna get ready to get started. As you see that we are recording this live on YouTube, and you should be able to get a cop at the top right left hand corner. Uh, okay, at the top left hand corner, you should be able to get a link to actually see everything. My name is Quentin. I'm with the Score Houston chapter of um, SCORE Houston chapter of the national organization called SCORE, which is a nonprofit organization with over 300 chapters and 11,000 volunteers nationwide. We helped over 11 million entrepreneurs since we started. SCORE has a couple of different areas that we really focus in on. And one of them, the main one, is mentoring. Mentoring would be where you can meet one-on-one with a business expert in many different specialties that we advise, educate, and encourage business leader to help them develop as people and become successful in their business. You can always request one of the SCORE mentors by visiting houston.score.org. And once again, that's houston.score.org. And requesting a mentor is a free service. And we love to say that we're here for the life of your business. And by that being said, we're here for you to ask questions from startup to closing if you ever decide to close it, transferring it over to a family member or anyone else. So if you would, I would always say, just in conjunction as taking this workshop, make sure you find a SCORE mentor to actually talk to. It is a free service and you can use it as much as you would like. Another thing, you have already registered for SCORE workshops. We have events that goes on all throughout the month. Please keep a hold of that and look over that. But while you're on that website, the SCORE Houston website, we have an area for tools and templates, which is has information, business plan templates, newspaper, and other information that you can use, like financial forecasts and other stuff like that, to help grow your business. As always, we are affiliated with the SBA, so please check out the local Houston district office, SBA. Um, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jada, which is one of our mentors here and experts in QuickBooks. And she's been teaching QuickBooks with us for a while, and she's one of the best presenters that we have in it. Um, with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jada, and she can take it the rest of the way from here.
Thank you, Quincy, and welcome everyone. At least my last session for this year. Um, Happy holidays, if I don't say that before the end of the presentation. We thank you for joining SCORE and providing this information to you. As business owners, you probably come to the point of understanding how important your financials are to your business. QuickBooks helps you to manage that data with the resource of QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, as well as QuickBooks Payroll. So those are three resources just on the top of my head that QuickBooks has for you. They have other products that will help you run your business, like TurboTax. They just acquired MailChimp. So those are some things that you can consider as you think about running your business. This particular webinar is Introduction to QuickBooks, and it's just going to be an overview of the features that you can find in QuickBooks Online. If you're interested in QuickBooks Desktop, we won't be discussing those features. However, it is a viable resource for certain businesses. I particularly prefer QuickBooks Online because it's of the functionality, and I'll tell you all about that as we go through this webinar. If you've joined the QuickBooks webinar in this past year or two, much of the information is the same. However, I try to keep it fresh and give you some new tips and information that can help you with your business. So we'll first go over introductions. We'll provide an overview of QuickBooks. We'll discuss introduction to QuickBooks in detail. And then the last 45 minutes we'll have for question and answering. So a little bit about SCORE. SCORE is a national organization that is in conjunction with the U.S. Small Business Administration, which is a great thing. Our mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through education. Our vision is that every person has the support necessary to thrive as a small business owner. And our core values are your success is our success. That is all of this is very important to us. These numbers have grown as far as how many people we've helped in the United States to start, manage, and even close out their business. So how do we do that? First, we do that by providing free business advice and mentoring, such as today. We also we offer low or no cost business training, like today. And then also we provide free business templates and resources that can be found on our houston.score.org website. You can download any of those documents and use them within your business. Furthermore, you can reach out to one of our SCORE mentors in that area that can help you with the templates that you download. Like Quincy said, financial planning templates, marketing, business plan, all of these resources are free. If you try to go anywhere else, they're going to charge you. So take advantage of what we have for you. This is a valuable resource that in any other industry you would not be able to have access. All right, so like Quincy said, we have over 10,000 volunteers nationwide. So if you're interested in starting a business here in Houston and the idea, or they have an existing business in another location of the United States and you want to bring that idea here, you can reach out to a mentor in that area and either have a co-mentoring session or just discuss your ideas with that individual and start your business here in Houston. So this is, again, a valuable resource. Me, as a mentor, I've mentored people all over the United States, Florida, New York, California, Ohio, Georgia. So, take advantage of the resources that are available to you, which is vast. Okay, about our chapter. So our chapter, we have over 160 now, 160 volunteers here in the Houston chapter. We are the largest chapter in the United States. So if you have an interest in or a need to speak to an attorney, you need to speak to a CPA, a former marketing executive, we have those mentors here in the Houston chapter that you can speak with either in person at our Gessner location or at satellite sites, or you can speak to them through Zooms, just like today. So we help start new businesses, we create jobs, and we provide chapter resources. Those of you who have been with us through COVID know the resources that we provided and how valuable those resources were to help you connect to the funding that was available during COVID, as well as how to navigate through a downturn or a pivot such as COVID. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram. So a little bit about me. So just so you know that I'm legit, I am a certified SCORE mentor. I provide mentoring in the areas of contract management, accounting, small business startup, home health care, and as well as notary services. I've been an entrepreneur, so I've been in your seat now since 2007. I am currently an entrepreneur. I have a small business here in Houston where I provide the contract management and accounting and guess what, QuickBooks services to my clients. And I am also a QuickBooks certified pro advisor, which means that I have gone through a program that certifies me to provide you with the QuickBooks tools and information. I also recently worked for QuickBooks providing startup advice to businesses that utilize QuickBooks. And I've also helped them to clean up their QuickBooks as well. My experience comes from 25 years of contract and grant administration from a major university, which also included managing 2 corporations simultaneously. My MBA is in project management. I also have another master's in criminal justice. My undergrad is paralegal, so that's where the contract management comes from. And I also have an associate in business administration. So that website below is incorrect. It's actually now changed to www.hc-bc.com, and I'll put that in the chat. You can find me on LinkedIn, and let's go ahead and get started. Enough about that lady, right? All right, so topics that we'll go over: introduction to QuickBooks, Expense Center, payroll, reporting, and also the support that QuickBooks will offer to you. QuickBooks is a very robust system. I'm not just saying that because I utilize it or I'm a pro advisor or I'm a former employee. I'm saying it because it is one of the best, no, the best system to manage your business, not just your numbers, your business. They provide apps, which we'll discuss later, that will help you with all aspects of your business. Okay, so one of the statistics that you can find in here in the United States is that 20% of businesses fail within the first year. Now, I am a person that likes to be more optimistic, and I believe that all businesses can thrive in the first year. All you need to do is pivot. But one of the reasons why I included this slide or statistic in this presentation is because the reason why businesses fail within the first year is because they don't know their financials. Okay. And part of that hesitation is paying for services like QuickBooks or an accountant or a bookkeeper to get you on track. But, through my teaching of QuickBooks, as well as with my clients and individuals that I mentor, I want to provide you with the understanding that the fee for QuickBooks or, hiring a bookkeeper or accountant is invaluable if you want to thrive in your business. If you don't want to thrive, don't buy the resources. And so I'm guessing because you're on this webinar, you do want to thrive. QuickBooks, and I'll go over this in a few minutes, is very affordable. You can utilize other tools that are free, but it won't be as robust as QuickBooks. All of my clients, every single one of them, have found the value of QuickBooks. They were hesitant, just like some people are, to make the purchase, to pay for the monthly fee of QuickBooks Online in the beginning. But once they realized how they're able to utilize the product, they have been able to know their numbers and then also be more successful in their business. I've had clients that when they first meet me, they're making $150,000 per year, which is great. But now within 2 years of utilizing QuickBooks as well as my services, they have become $1 million companies. So it's imperative that you know your numbers. Okay. All right. Introduction to QuickBooks. So there are technical benefits of acquiring QuickBooks Online. Okay. It is a cloud-based system. Now, compared to desktop, that is saved to your computer. You cannot use it, access it anywhere else but on the device that you save it on. QuickBooks Online, you can access it on any device, anywhere in the world. Okay, so that's a great resource for you for the flexibility, and that's the reason why I like QuickBooks Online compared to QuickBooks Desktop. That in addition, if you are working on something in your QuickBooks, your accountant, your bookkeeper, your administrator, anyone that has access to your QuickBooks will see it instantly. Whereas desktop, you would need to download the information, provide that information on some sort of device so that they can upload it into their system. QuickBooks gives you that flexibility. Again, like I said, there's apps that you can connect to QuickBooks if you're currently using Stripe, Zoho, Expensify. Those are only 3 of over 150 apps that you can connect to QuickBooks to manage your business. Again, like I said, you have accessibility across multiple devices. It's in real time, multiple user access. It is bank level encrypted, which means that if you trust your bank in managing your financial information, your banking information, QuickBooks is on that same level. So a lot of people that I meet with are concerned about the security of QuickBooks, especially since it's in the cloud. Um, this is the same level as bank encryption. There's also integrated document management. So again, one of my services is contract management. You can upload different documents into your QuickBooks, such as receipts, and we'll talk about that, and other documents that are important to you. So let's go ahead and move forward. So I do have to admit, in the last quarter of this year, the prices of the QuickBooks subscription have gone up from what is on the screen here. So Simple Start is now $30 a month. Essentials is now $45 a month. Plus is $80 a month. And Advanced is $200 a month. Aside from the pricing, I will go on to say what is included in each one of these subscriptions. Now, QuickBooks typically offers 50% off for the first 3 months, or you can get a free trial for 30 days. It's up to you. If you reach out to a pro advisor that utilizes QuickBooks, you could get a deeper discount. So you may want to talk to a pro advisor or an accountant that utilizes QuickBooks to get a deeper discount. Okay, the difference between the 4 subscriptions. Now, before I mention that, I know a couple of you are going to say, well, what about QuickBooks Self-Employed? A lot of people jump on that subscription because it is the most affordable and it's not even on the screen. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But that subscription is about $15 a month. And it is a great system to start with if your business is, if you're an Uber driver, if you are a Door Dasher, or you have a painting business and you do contract work, then it's great for businesses or business functions that don't need too much functionality. And I'll tell you that one of the things that you can't get with self-employed is a balance sheet. So if you're interested in growing your business, so you are that painter, and now that you have a few clients under your belt and you are ready to grow your business, you want to hire contractors, you want to purchase a new truck, you want to get a line of credit to purchase supplies, you will need a balance sheet because that's what the bank is going to ask you for in order to prove the financial equity in your business. So self-employed, QuickBooks Self-Employed does not provide that balance sheet. So if you want to be, and I don't want to say a legit, but a robust business, these are the 4 subscription levels that are available to you. So again, if you're just starting out, you need something more affordable, like Self-Employed, it's a great way to get started for the first 3 to 6 months, but eventually you'll need to upgrade to one of these subscription levels to get what you need to effectively run your business. Now, with that being said, I always suggest that all of my clients utilize QuickBooks Simple Start, which is on the screen, the first level, for the first, initially. And the reason being is because a lot of people, they're starting out, so they have some good startup money, or, they have an uncle with deep pockets, whatever. They go after what they see on the screen, the most popular. I'll go ahead and get QuickBooks Plus. Well, as you can see, it's now, like I said, $80 a month. And the issue with that, a lot of people jump right in and they don't know how to use the system. And then they freeze. And then they're paying $80 a month for something that's just sitting on their computer and they're not utilizing it effectively. So I always suggest start with Simple Start. That way you get to learn the system without paying that absorbent amount. And then as you are needing more services through the subscription, then you can upgrade at any time. You can downgrade at any time as well. So if you went gun ho and got that plus and realize, oh, I don't need plus, you can downgrade at any time in any period of time. So starting with Simple Start, managing your or tracking your income and expenses, that's the number one thing that we need to do. And again, there is a learning curve when categorizing and managing your income and expenses, especially if you're not an accountant, you don't know what categories to put, certain information in. And so therefore, that's where individuals that have made the subscription purchase have paused. And so then it goes on, you're busy with your business, it goes on, and then it's the end of the year. And now you have over 500 transactions that you need to categorize in order to prep for tax season. So it's very important to start with Simple Start, learn how to use the tool, and then upgrade to the higher levels. You can capture and organize receipts. Again, I'm going to talk about that later. That's very important. Now, what I forgot to mention in the beginning, if you have questions, please put them in the question and answer area, and we will address your questions at the end of the webinar or towards the end of the webinar. By putting it in chat, we can't effectively answer those questions for you, so please put them in the Q&A area. So receipt capture, maximize tax deductions. You can create invoices and accept payments, track your mileage, run general reports, such as your income statement and balance sheet, as well as your AR and AP, accounts receivable, accounts payable. You can send estimates, which is great. You can track sales taxes, your sales and sales taxes, and you can manage your 1099 contractors. So those are really the core things that you need to run your business. Now, when you need to upgrade to Essentials or upgrade to Plus or Advanced, which if you upgrade to Advanced, that's a different ball field. So I'll tell you about that in a moment. But when you upgrade to Essentials, it's because now you have an administrator, an admin that's working for you, and you need to give him or her their own access. That is when you're going to want to upgrade to Essentials, because then you'll be able to give access to 3 other users besides yourself. Okay. Then you can also track time. So if you have contractors that are working in the field or even in other states or other areas of the world, and you need them to clock in, this feature will allow you to view their current position through GPS and allow them to track, clock in and track their time. It is an additional fee to do that, but within Essentials, you'll have that accessibility. You'll also be able to manage bills within Essentials. Plus has everything that Simple Start and Essentials has, but now you're able to add 5 users, and then you'll be able to track the project profitability and inventory. So if you have inventory, okay, if you have inventory, I suggest that you start with Plus and not Simple Start. And the reason being is that inventory is only managed through the Plus subscription. And I've had clients where I've managed, or they needed to manage their inventory. And it's a very useful tool that you need in order to report your taxes. And if you're ever audited, that information needs to be tracked. So Plus would be where you would want to start. Project profitability, which we'll go over when we go through the presentation, is if you work on projects such as in construction, or you have contracts with the government, Plus is a great tool to use in order to manage those projects and contracts. Okay, so the last subscription level is Advanced, and it is pricey, $200 a month. It does everything that the other subscription do, as well as provide you with analytics, insights. You can batch and import information. You can customize access by role. You'll have 25 users for this subscription, access to your QuickBooks. You also have dedicated account manager from QuickBooks. So it's sort of a white glove approach to your QuickBooks. And you are also able to automate workflows. You also have a lot additional reporting capabilities. I'll give you an example of a client that I had that utilized Advance. They had 4 locations, one here in Houston, 2 in Louisiana, and 1 up north. And so it was necessary for them to have this subscription level. So I will reserve this subscription level Advance for individuals that have that large of a business. So those are the subscription levels. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention is that please, this is a networking opportunity. Okay, so, post-COVID, people are just trying to get back in the groove of going out and networking. We're in the holiday season, so there's holiday parties and all that good stuff. But this here is also an opportunity for you to network. Please feel free to put your business name and information in the chat so that other people can network with you. Okay. All right. So we did talk about the subscription levels and what's available to you. So I'll go ahead and give you an example of the type of business that that Simple Start would include. This is an individual that she probably sells cosmetics through house parties. She doesn't need to track inventory. She only wants to track her income and expenses, and she gets paid by credit card or by Stripe. That is an example of Simple Start. Okay. Another business example for essentials is a dental practice. And so they need third-party billing software. They record revenue using a single customer name. They pay bills by check, and they need access for the doctor, the office manager, the bookkeeper, and a CPA. All of those within QuickBooks Essentials. So if you have a dental practice, this is one that you would probably want to start with. But again, I say start with Simple Start unless you do need that 3-user accessibility. An example of QuickBooks Plus is an interior design firm. They have billable expenses, which means they purchase furniture within their design firm and then resell it to their customers. They have inventory that they need to track. They need to track revenue by designer. So if they have multiple designers, they need to understand that, each of the 5 designers, what their revenue that they're bringing in. Then you're also able to create budgets and track time within QuickBooks Plus. An example that, and I'll give you an example of a customer or client that I had, but another example of QuickBooks Advance is a mortgage company. They need to track appraisal values for each home. And they need to provide different reports that the state requires. So they have to tweak those reports to respond to what the state requires. They need a drop down in order to select a loan type. This is something that QuickBooks Advance offers. And they also need a contact person to appear on the documents. So if it's an appraiser, that appraiser's name shows up on all the documents. So that's an example of QuickBooks Advance. All right, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this and navigate QuickBooks. All right, let me move my picture here so I can see everything. All right. So what you see on the screen right now is the home or dashboard of a QuickBooks subscription. Okay. Now, the great thing that QuickBooks does for you is that they provide you with a sandbox, which means that you can go in and you can play and move things around, you can enter information, you can learn how and get comfortable with using QuickBooks. The test drive link is listed here above, and you can you can copy down those links in order to access it. It's free to everyone, not just people who have QuickBooks, but free to everyone. So if you are entertaining purchasing QuickBooks, you can use this first to kind of get an understanding or comfortable, being comfortable with it, and then you can make the purchase. The first thing that you would need to do, or that you would have access to, is logging on to QuickBooks. When you make the purchase, you will log on using your email address and then a password that you've created. This is, again, accessible on any device. So for instance, this login screen you'll see both on your main computer as well as on your phone if you're using that as a device. You can utilize your desktop and the mobile app at the same time. The mobile app that's on your phone is the same system. It's just the app version of what's on your computer. All right. So when you do purchase the QuickBooks subscription, and a lot of questions I get is, how do they know, what business, or what my chart of accounts should look like, all of that good stuff. They have a setup wizard. So they allow you to put your name into the setup wizard initially, and then select what type of business that you have. Now, this is very important when you put that in there, because it dictates what your chart of accounts will be, how it will be set up. Now, if you put the wrong thing in, or you don't put anything at all, or you say NA or something like that, you can change the chart of accounts. So one of the things that I impress upon my clients, my mentees, my students, is that you cannot break QuickBooks, okay? I promise you. You can mess it up. I know this for sure. But if you have come to a point, just, it can be fixable. Reach out to a pro advisor and they will help you with it. Now, pro advisors will charge you, but QuickBooks Help, which I'll show you later, they will try to assist you with the technical issues that you may be having, and that's for free. So there is some options for you, and then we will discuss those towards the end. Okay, so when you go through this QuickBooks wizard, it'll allow you to select what you want to do with your QuickBooks. It's not set in stone, it's always changeable. But you do want to check what business role you are, and typically that is business owner, or you're the bookkeeper, an accountant, or you're an employee of some sort. So this is what's included in the setup wizard. Now, when you access your QuickBooks, there's going to be 3 access points. It's going to be here. Now, let me turn on annotation. Okay. All right. So it's going to be here, and this is going to include the gear icon, which allows you to set up the background of your QuickBooks. It allows you to enter your name, your EIN, your address, all of the things that need to show up on the documents within your QuickBooks. So this is all the background. It also has the magnifying glass, which we'll go over, and the help feature. Have the, let me see, change the, then we have the plus new button. The plus new button is going to be anything that you want to create. So if you want to create an invoice, you want to create a bill, a journal entry, that's where you'll go. So plus new is to create. Now, then we have the gray toolbar here that is a great accessibility. It's the one that I always use. One of the things about QuickBooks is that you can access the same information for multiple areas, but I always go to this area here. This, again, is your dashboard, and the dashboard does give you 2 views in the live. It gives you this information and includes your bank account, and also gives you a business view, and I'll show you that later. This, you can, again, access anything that you need on the gray toolbar. All right. Okay. So within that gear icon that I mentioned before is the accounting settings. Within the accounting settings, again, that is where you would enter your uh, name and address. Also, your sales information will be there. We'll take a look at that. Billing and subscription, expenses, payments. This is where you control all of that. Okay. So you'll also be able to manage users within the gear icon. And this, if you're adding your administrative assistant, you can determine what type of access that individual will have in your QuickBooks. You do that by clicking on the Add User button, and you would just simply enter their name and email address. It'll send out an invite for them to join your QuickBooks. Once they accept it, they'll have the access that you have given them to the QuickBooks. So one of the questions I have, will they be able to see my bank accounts? If depending on the role that you have assigned to that individual, you can block what they can see. Okay. All right, custom forms and styles can also be found in the gear icon, which allows you to customize forms such as your invoice. So one of the things that if you do have contracts with the government, they require certain information to be on your invoices. So this is the area that you would go to change the description, the quantity, and add different information that should be on your invoices. You'll also be able to add your logo here at the top right. Okay, so then you also be able to see your chart of accounts within the gear icon. And then you can also access the chart of accounts on your left toolbar. When you do, you're able to see the list of accounts that are that you're able to manage within your business. Now, remember I said earlier, by putting in the business industry or the business type within the setup wizard, it creates this chart of accounts for you. So if you are a construction company and you select a real estate as the business industry, then it's going to give you accounts in this list that is related to real estate, and you will have to either create new accounts that are related to construction. So again, everything is fixable. This is something that can be changed if you do have an error with it. Now, in that top navigation toolbar, we have the gear icon, notifications that you will receive from QuickBooks. So for instance, my clients, when I send them requests for their bank statements, that notification shows up here in their QuickBooks. This magnifying glass, which we'll discuss even further, allows you to search your QuickBooks for information that is either pertinent to your financials or to clients that are listed in your QuickBooks, and I'll show you how to use that in a moment. Then here we have the help feature, which by clicking on the help feature, it'll allow you to connect to a QuickBooks chat or a QuickBooks person where you can get help with the different features within your QuickBooks. All right, so you're also able to control your products and services within your QuickBooks. So adding, if you have a novelty business and you sell t-shirts and mugs, then you're able to add those products within your QuickBooks, and you're able to manage those. Because you have products here in the state of Texas, you will also need to enter the sales tax, which we'll talk about later, and you can manage it within your QuickBooks. Okay. Another area within the gear icon is the tools. You're able to import data, export data. If you're geeked about the QuickBooks Online and you're ready to move from QuickBooks Desktop, here's an opportunity to import your data from desktop to QuickBooks Online. Now, what I will say about that, that can get messy from coming from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. My suggestion is to utilize QuickBooks Desktop as an archive. Um, you own it. It's on your computer for life. And so I would utilize that as an archive, and then QuickBooks Online, start using that fresh. When you try to upload data from desktop, some of the data gets lost, especially payroll. I had to learn that the hard way. So my advice is to stop using desktop at some point in time, whether it's the end of the year or end of the quarter, and then start using online fresh. And then if you need to find information or print out reports, you can do so from desktop for the historical information, and then everything going forward, use online. This is also where you can create budgets for certain subscription levels. You'll have your audit log, and then some other access. Now, within that plus new button, again, you're able to create invoices, estimates, refund receipts, bills, purchase orders, depending on the subscription level, manage payroll. But as you can see in this subscription level, there is an up arrow, which means that you would need to add payroll to your QuickBooks subscription. So this is another question that I get. Again, if you have questions, please put it in the Q&A area and not the chat. If we have time at the end, we'll try to get to the chat, but please put it in the Q&A area. Now, payroll is a separate subscription from your QuickBooks Online subscription. So say you selected Simple Start, okay? That's going to manage your income and expenses, all of that good stuff. But now you want to either pay yourself or pay your employees. Contractors are different. You're wanting to pay your employees, W-2 employees. Then you will have to purchase a payroll subscription. That starts with $39 per month plus $4 per employee. Now, what I will say about payroll, it is a superior system to some of the other payroll subscriptions or payroll services that are out there, in my opinion. I've utilized all of them, and except for Gusto. I haven't utilized Gusto myself, but my clients have used it, and Gusto I've found to be usable. Whereas for QuickBooks Payroll, not only does it work seamlessly with your QuickBooks Simple Start, but also when you have issues with your payroll, the support service is superior. I've not found it anywhere within the payroll systems that I've used, in the most popular ones in the past. So that is something that you can consider, but understand that if you need to manage your W-2 employees, then that is a separate subscription. You can also create journal entries, provide statements, all that good stuff within the plus new button. Now, that magnifying glass that I mentioned earlier, it is a lifesaver. Say, for instance, you had entered something for $34. I can't remember who and why and where. You can enter $34 and it'll pull up all the transactions that are related to $34. If you know that you purchased something from Squeaky Clean Car Wash, you can type in Squeaky Clean and it'll pull up anything that's related to Squeaky Clean. One of the other things within what the magnifying glass or the search does is that when you're at the top of any screen, you can click on this arrow with it looks like a little clock, and it'll give you all the most recent information. And this particular example is giving you the most recent invoices. So, those of you that have accounting experience or you've dealt with accounting systems, you can pull your hair out or off, whichever, in order to trying to find something within the computer system. This makes it so much easier rather than searching all of the data individually. So the left navigation toolbar, or the gray toolbar that I mentioned before, again, gives you access to everything you need. It's right there in the front. For example, the expenses. Now within the expenses, right now we're looking at the vendor view. And so you're looking at the list of vendors. That gives you a snapshot of what they owe, the open balance. You can access and create bills right within this area here. This colorful toolbar here at the top gives you a snapshot of the purchase orders that are open, for instance, what's overdue, the open bills, and then also anything that's been paid in the last 30 days. And when you click on any one of these colorful toolbars, it'll take you to, for example, the 4 items that are overdue, and it lists the individuals or the businesses that you need to pay. You can add vendors from here, and then also you can prepare the 1099s for the vendors that you use. Now, what I will say is that this prepare 1099s is a beautiful feature that is, in those of you who know me, that is click, click, done. Okay. And those of you who've done 1099s in the past have produced those and had to, send them to the IRS as well as the contractors. It is a process that QuickBooks makes it so easy for you. Now, it is an additional fee to send out the 1099s at the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year for the previous year. But it's well worth every single penny, because they will receive the invoices, the 1099s, not only by email, but they will also receive it by paper. And then also it sends off to the IRS, all within a click, click, done situation. So whereas in, back in the old days, 25 years of experience, I did it in the old days, that we had to physically type up the forms, calculate the information, make sure that the vendor information is correct, then in triplicate, send it out to the vendor, the IRS, and to retain those within our files. So this is all something that QuickBooks does with the click of a button. Again, it's worth every single penny. Now, the next area is invoicing. And when you access invoicing, the first thing it's going to give you is an overview screen, which allows you to see a snapshot of what's going on with your invoices. It also provides you a list of invoices, your customers, and then all sales. So you're saying, okay, if they're listing invoices, what else is all sales? Well, that could be your sales receipts, so on and so forth. This is another area that you can access the products and services. So remember, the products and services you can access in the gear icon, but you can also access it here. So when you do access the invoices, this is that same colorful toolbar that we saw in the expenses area. It also has that toolbar here in the invoices, and you can see a snapshot of the estimates that you have, what's overdue, as well as what's been paid in the last 30 days. You can add a new customer here very easily, but when you do the when you do the banking and the transactions, that's another way that you can add customers as well. So various different ways to manage your customer information as well as your invoices within QuickBooks. When you do create a new customer, this is what the profile looks like, and all the data that you can put in. Some is required, such as the display name, but then the information is not. And so if you don't have their billing address just yet, or the shipping address just yet, then you can go ahead and move forward with creating whatever you need for your customer, and you can fill in the rest of the information at a later time. Okay, so I mentioned that you can create sales receipts. So a lot of people ask, what is the difference between a sales receipt and an invoice? Well, invoice, you're expecting payment, okay? And whether that's instantaneously or you are expecting it in a week, you're giving them time to pay what you're doing for them right now. That's an invoice. But a sales receipt is for uh, transactions that happen at that moment, and you're giving them a receipt for what they just purchased. Similar to when you go to Walmart and you purchase, your 100 pack of toilet paper, then it'll give you a sales receipt. Okay. Now, if you can finagle an invoice out of Walmart, let me know how you do that. Now, Sam's, same company, Sam's, you may be able to get it on an invoice system, especially if you are a business owner. But typically, you would receive a sales receipt from companies like Walmart. Okay, so you are also able to accept payments through QuickBooks. So QuickBooks, it has a banking feature. They are a bank. And so if you are not currently using a payment system like Square or Stripe, you can utilize QuickBooks payments, and which allows you to accept ACH bank transfers as well as credit card payments right within your QuickBooks. The benefit of using this as opposed to Square or Stripe is that when someone does pay you through QuickBooks payments, it'll automatically update your invoice that it's been paid. And so you don't have to go back into the system and say, oh, this invoice was paid by Stripe or this payment was paid by Square. Another thing about payments, QuickBooks payments, is that they do charge you a fee, just like with any bank, for receiving credit card payments. For credit card payments, it is a 2.9% of the total invoice. So you see on the screen, this individual is paying a $3,800 invoice. You will be charged 2.9% of that total amount. So I always caution people on that because that can be an absorbent fee. You can translate or give or have your, in the state of Texas, have your customer pay that fee, but you will need to request that fee from the customer. Now on ACH bank transfers, it's only 1% up to $10. So if someone pays you $2,000, they will only pay $10. They will not pay $20. So that's just a feature to be aware of, and that it allows you to have a lot of functionality when it comes to payments. All right, so we talked a little bit about payroll before, but I did want to kind of, tell you what your options are. I mentioned earlier that QuickBooks Payroll Core is one that you should start with. And like I said, it's about $45 a month, plus $4 per employee. They do give you a discount for the first 3 months. Again, if you choose to go through a pro advisor, they will give you a deeper discount. But this allows you to understand that Payroll Core does everything for you. Now, there was a time where all they did was track the payroll amounts and the taxes for you, but now they've gone so far, even within Core, to not only do that, but also file your 941 tax forms and pay your 941 tax forms, as well as your unemployment insurance, everything that an employer has to maintain. That subscription level handles for you. Now, if you want to move up to premium, again, it is higher, and it's probably about $80 a month for premium, but it allows you to have HR support. You can have workers' comp administration. There will be someone to help you set it up. So it is a better feature if those are some things that you're interested in. It also has same-day direct deposit. So that comes in handy. It comes in handy. Now, there is the elite subscription level, which is a little more than $125 per month. But again, it gives you that white glove customized setup. You have 24/7 expert product support. You can track your time and projects. You have tax penalty protection, which means that if they did something wrong or there's something missing, they are able to help you with that. And then also you have a personal HR advisor. So again, a lot of people are not ready for that just yet. So start with Core, and you can upgrade, downgrade at any time. Okay, so when you do access QuickBooks Payroll, it may say work, depending on your subscription level, it may say workers or payroll. This is the first screen that you're going to see initially. When you click on Get Started, it will allow you to add your first employee. Now, let's see, my bar is in the way. Let's see what it says. Okay, so QuickBooks Payroll, these are your three options. You can work with Intuit to set it up. You can complete a Form 8655, which has to do with setting up your payroll. And then you can convert from a third-party payroll provider for free. So, you know, whether that's Paychex or ADP, you can convert from them if you like. And then another option, a fourth option, is that you can connect with the Pro Advisor and they will help you with the setup. And this is more of a one-on-one with a trusted advisor, someone that has been certified in QuickBooks, and then also they understand your business. When you do the setup with QuickBooks, this may be someone that you may not be able to talk to again. So the advantage of connecting with the Pro Advisor is that you can always call that person up. When you connect with a Intuit person or QuickBooks employee, you may not get the same person every time. All right, so this is what the screen looks like when you are looking for reports that are related to payroll. As you can see, there's a plethora of reports available to you that provides you with the payroll information. You're able to see your employee as well as run payrolls from the screen. Okay, so we already went over the pricing. So that's what we have on QuickBooks Payroll. Now we'll talk about bank fees and reconciling. So within QuickBooks, you're able to connect any account that you're wanting to manage. So as you can see on the screen, it has, give me a second. It has a checking, it has a savings. Let me just underline this, try to circle. Savings, and then a MasterCard. If you have a line of credit, you have some other account that you want to connect, as long as you have a username and password to access that account or the bank information, you're able to link that account. Now, what we see here below is all of the transactions for the MasterCard. That's what we see down here below. Okay, so when you click on one of these cards, it'll show you the transactions below. Now, what you can do is when you go into this banking area, you can categorize the transactions so that it will land on your reports. This is a holding tank for your transactions. So when they come across the bank feed, which is instantaneously, as you can see here, it says updated moments ago. If you ever, if it ever gets hung up where it says last updated in November 25th, you can click on this update button here, and it'll update the transactions for you and draw them down. So until you categorize these transactions, then they will sit here in this holding tank. When you do categorize the expense, whether it's matching it or adding it, then it will then show up on your income statement and balance sheet. Okay, so that's the banking area. Okay, so how do you link the accounts? As you can see, you have multiple types of accounts, and these are the big, the big banks, right? But when I was doing setup for QuickBooks, working as an employee, I was setting up all over the United States, and there were banks like little credit unions. Whatever type of bank you use, you can find it here. You just type in the name, and it'll pull up your bank. Okay. Again, your username and password is necessary in order to link the account. So it is secure. So when you add that information, it'll allow you to electronically link your account. Now, if you don't want to link your account, which I don't recommend, okay, I recommend that you link your account. Otherwise, it gets messy. But if for some reason you can't link your account, maybe you don't have the username and password, you don't have access to it anymore. I've had at least 4 clients this year that have needed to go back 3 years. And so if they didn't have access to their username and password because they don't have that bank anymore, the bank statements can be converted to CSV files and then uploaded here into the QuickBooks. So you can upload transactions. So say, for instance, I have this a lot, where especially companies that are just starting out, and they use personal funds or their personal bank or their personal credit card to start their business, which, that can be done. But as soon as possible, you should get a bank account for your business and credit cards that are linked to your business only. Now, if you did do that, where you use your personal checking account, your personal credit card, you don't want to link those accounts, because you don't want your rent, your trips to Chili's restaurant, you don't want DSW to show up in your business bank feed, okay? Because you're going to have to indicate that those are non-business expenses. And it just, like I said, it gets messy. So this is an opportunity to pull the business transactions from those personal statements and put them in a CSV Excel file and upload them into QuickBooks, so you can get those tax deductions or account for that income you did receive. So this is an opportunity that you can also use. Okay. So reconciling. When you do categorize your transactions, income, expenses, all that good stuff, you want to reconcile with what the bank has on your statement. Now, I know a lot of you, hold on, pause, calm down. I was just saying, I've linked my account, it's coming directly from the bank feed. Why do I need to reconcile with the bank statement? Well, because the IRS wants to know that you have control over your business. And how you do that is by managing the transactions within your QuickBooks. So you're entering the data, you're allowing it to connect. So you have an invoice that you sent out, you're connecting that payment from the bank to that invoice. Okay, so you've done your part. Now you get the bank statement, and that invoice was sent out on January 31st of 2022, but it didn't hit the payment didn't hit until February 2nd of 2022. That's why it's important to reconcile, because then it'll let your system know that, yes, it did hit the bank, but it didn't hit until February, for example. That's one example of why you should do bank reconciliations. Those of you who have accounting experience that have done this in the past know that doing bank reconciliations is tedious. However, with QuickBooks Online, doing a bank reconciliation is uber simple. All you have to do is enter the ending balance, the ending date, as you can see here on the screen. You just enter that information here and here, and then you click reconcile. You do want to make sure it's the right account selected. Remember, we had a checking, savings, and a MasterCard. So you want to make sure the right account is selected, and then you hit reconcile, and then it provides you with the data to do the bank reconciliation compared to your bank statement. And this is what it looks like. So the beginning balance, the ending balance, if you needed to change, so say you put January 30th of 2022 instead of January 31st. You can change that information by clicking on the edit info button. But here it allows you to sort by payments versus deposits. And you can also look at all the transactions at one time. When you select all of the transactions for January, as you can see, it's just 2 transactions, and how you select that is hitting these radio buttons. And once you do, it'll reconcile for you. Okay, so that's bank reconciliation. Now we'll discuss sales tax. Now, within the sales tax area, you do have to set up the sales tax entity that is requiring you to collect sales tax. So in this instance, the Board of Equalization and the Arizona Department of Revenue are requiring sales taxes. Okay. In Houston or in Texas, it's the Texas Comptroller office that you would set up here in this area for the sales tax. It allows you to see what is owed and then what is upcoming and what has been paid. So this is all, at a snapshot, all good information. You can then record the tax payment once you make the tax payment, and then you can also view a report. So by doing this, when you set it up in your QuickBooks to track the sales taxes, every invoice that you send out that has sales taxes, it'll start calculating that information for you. You'll print that view a report, plug that information in the comptroller's portal to pay it. Once you pay it, you come back here and you record the tax payment. Okay, so that's the Sales Tax Center. Reporting. So as a business owner, this is the most important area of your QuickBooks as an owner. Now you have, you got to do the bookkeeping and you got to do the accounting piece, but the reporting as a business owner is going to be the most important because it tells you the financial position of your business. So based on the subscription level, it provides you with the number of reports or an amount of reports that you can access. Now, as I mentioned before, I would start with Simple Start. It gives you 20 reports. Now, especially when you're starting out, these basic reports is all you need, honestly. 20 report. I mean, you don't, unless you are an accountant and that's your business, you don't have time to look at all of these reports. But as your business grows, as you can see, you're going to need more reports. Okay. So when you go to the reporting area, you're able to look at summary report, details reports. You can even specialize your reports and customize your reports. So say there's a profit and loss statement that you produce every month, but you want it to have certain details and certain information on it. It is, specific in the information that you can add to it, but you can customize it so that it looks like that every single time. And then in addition to that, you can email out that report. So say you are the bookkeeper, you are the accountant, and your CFO or your CPA needs to see it in a certain way. That report can be emailed to that CPA on a monthly, weekly, daily basis, however often they want to receive the report. So that's something that you can do even if you want to email it to yourself as a business owner so that you can see it without going into QuickBooks. Okay. There's also what is the management reports, which gives you a very sophisticated portfolio looking report that you can provide to investors, to bankers, to partners, however often you need. It'll include the basic balance sheet and profit and loss statement, but you can add any of these reports to that report, the management report that you would like to send out. They also have sales reports that will have charts and graphs. It's a great tool to use. QuickBooks support. Okay, like I mentioned before, it is a very supportive system. I really have not found this, and I've used other accounting systems throughout my 25 years, and I've not found a tool that is superior to this. So the support that they provide, as I mentioned before, you can call them, you can chat with them, but also they provide you with tutorials. They'll provide you with video tutorials, which for my clients, when I train them, I send them these videos in addition to the training that I provide to them so that they can have it as a resource. But you can access these training videos even if you don't have QuickBooks subscription just yet. They'll also give you written resources. You can talk to people in your own seat within the QuickBooks community. So there's different ways that you can get support from QuickBooks. I mentioned the help button. Once you click on that, it gives you the opportunity to speak with and chat with a QuickBooks advisor. So I'm close to 3 minutes. So now we can open it up to question and answers. Please go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A area. If you have put any information or questions in the chat, we'll try to get to it, but we're going to address the Q&A area first. So first we have Mark Lockhart. What is an affordable and easy to use point of sale system that integrates with QuickBooks Online, including hardware and software? Well, QuickBooks does have a point of sale system that integrates with their system, of course. It is comparable as far as pricing when it comes to it, and they do send you the hardware that you can purchase. Those, I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think that they still give you the slide, the credit card slide for free for new QuickBooks users. If not, then it is available for purchase, but I would utilize that. But you can also connect Stripe in Square. I used Square in the beginning before they had QuickBooks point of sale and QuickBooks payments. So those are two that integrate with QuickBooks. Anonymous, do you recommend purchasing QuickBooks Online for dummies? Honestly, if that makes you feel comfortable to use that, it is a tool, but I don't recommend it. Honestly, it's just a lot of information coming from different sources. QuickBooks provides all of the direction that you need for their tool to use it, and it is for free. They have videos that you can utilize, and you can also reach out to their help desk. When you do call them, they can share a screen with you, and then you can show them what's going on with your QuickBooks, and say you don't know how to categorize something or you have a question. They'll point you in the right direction, but they can't do it for you. That's the same with me as in my capacity as a SCORE mentor. If you reach out to me through SCORE, I can talk to you all day about QuickBooks, but I can't fix it for you. It is an ethics policy that we have. Also, it takes an abundant amount of time to understand your business, to connect with you, and then make the corrections. And that is time consuming and expensive. One of the things as a business owner is that you do want to manage your time. And this is one of the ways that you can do that effectively by reaching out to QuickBooks Help, and they can, assist you so much. But then connecting with the QuickBooks Pro Advisor, which they will charge you, but you'll have that resource that you can always use. I've used the For Dummies books in the past for other things. And just like in college, it's a great, what are those things that we used to get? Was it the little cheat sheet things? Like, I forget what they call them. Bridge. What they call them? I forget. Anyway, it's great for that, but you still have to understand what they have on or within the book. By connecting with a pro advisor or by connecting with QuickBooks, they'll be able to explain all of that information to you. Jennifer, I've ended up with duplicate bank transactions due to some kind of error or glitch, thousands of transactions, but 2 of each. QuickBooks customer service says it's impossible to delete all transactions and start again. I have to either delete one by one or create a whole new account. That seems crazy. Is this correct? No, it's not correct. That's where I got stuck. It happened twice now. Okay, so Jennifer, it sounds to me, and again, I can't fix it for you unless you come to me in a capacity of a client. But what I will tell you, it sounds to me that either you're connecting a bank account twice, or you're uploading information twice, and it's coming down across twice. Now, there is a way, if for some reason it's duplicating the bank transactions, I don't know, but if it is doing that, you can sort the transactions, select the ones that are duplicates in the bank feed, and then exclude those transactions. Okay, you will, if the problem is not resolved, then you may have to do it every time that you go to do the bank transactions. My suggestion is to connect with a pro advisor such as myself, that can help you with this. I do train people on how to use QuickBooks, as well as help them to clean it up. All right, Stephanie, let's see here. How do you turn off automatic payroll and tax reporting 941s to the state and federal agencies so that so you can pay report on your own? So if you have QuickBooks Payroll, they're going to want you to pay and file those on time. So because you're using their payroll system, they want you to be compliant. And so what happens is, if you turn it off, then they, as a payroll client, they become liable if you don't pay or file those reports. So the only way to turn it off is to turn off your payroll. The information will still calculate into your QuickBooks, but it won't report for you or pay the taxes. All right, Karen, which version would be good for a construction company needing to track income expenses by project? That would be QuickBooks Plus. I would start with that. Now, I said in the past that QuickBooks Simple Start would be the great one to start with, but because you're tracking projects, Plus is the only, or Plus and Advanced are the only two subscriptions that you would need to be able to use that functionality. Joe, is there a discount code for the rate shown earlier? There, you could find one if you Google QuickBooks codes, but if you go to the website, it'll give you that 50% off for the first 3 months. If you reach out to a pro advisor, you connect with them and they start working with you to do your accounting or training, or you become one of their clients, then such as myself, then I can give you 30% off for the entire year. So that's something to consider. But as far as the code, yeah, that's something that you can Google, and it's possible that you could possibly use that. What are the rates for accepting payments? So if you're using QuickBooks Payments, the rate for ACH bank transfers is 1% of the payment that you're receiving, up to $10. And then if you're using credit card, if someone's paying you by credit card, it is a 2.9% fee. Okay, Devendra, I hope I pronounced that right. Is there a way where we can get an open API version to customize integration? So that, I believe, is going to be on the advanced level. And that is one of the ways that QuickBooks helps to customize the QuickBooks for yourself. So I would reach out to QuickBooks Help or a pro advisor that can lead you into customizing the QuickBooks system for yourself. Okay, you also said, how flexible is it to transfer data from other accounting software? I think it's very flexible, especially if you use a CSV file. But if you're, wanting to transfer data electronically, say from Square to QuickBooks, you would just attach the app. So it's very flexible. Isabella, if I get the payroll program, how do I know how much to pay to the IRS? I do quarterly payments. That is calculated within your payroll system. So again, I suggest payroll core to start out, and then that is calculated, and then it'll give you the amount to pay to the IRS. Now, if you purchase a payroll system, then it will pay those payments as well as file the reports for you. So a lot of people don't know, but the 941s, you file the report. That's one thing. And then you also make a payment. It's two different actions. Okay. Some people think that filing a report, that's all you have to do, but then you have to go and make the payment. And typically, if you're doing this outside of a payroll program, then you're going into the EFTPS system in order to make that payment, which you do have to set up. It takes some time to do that. Ken, is the reconciling done monthly or quarterly? I recommend that you do your bank reconciliations monthly at the very least. If you do it quarterly, that's an option. I know you're busy, but do it monthly, because if you do it any other quarterly, every 6 months, whatever, then the things that have happened in those previous months, it'll be harder for you to find as well as correct. So say there was an error on your bank statement and the bank charged you $10 and they shouldn't have. It'll be difficult to go back 3 months to get that $10 or however much they overcharged you, or whatever the error is. So doing it monthly, again, this is another reason why you should do bank reconciliations. It allows you to know what's going on with your business as it relates to your bank account. Alex, please explain the credit card charges again. So again, if someone pays you by a credit card using QuickBooks payments, they will charge you 2.9% of the total invoiced amount. So, and I've done this. So if you charge someone $5,000, 2.9% of that $5,000 will be a fee that QuickBooks will extract from the $5,000. And I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to pay that. That's something I believe that my client should be paying for. So I will translate that fee to them. Now, unfortunately, with the current QuickBooks system, you would have to go back to the client to pay, to get them to pay that fee. I would connect with a pro advisor so they can set that up with you correctly, as well as make sure that the features that you want are included within that QuickBooks payments. Isabella, where can I get in-person training here in Houston, starting from zero knowledge? I do provide training to my clients. And then there's a couple of ways that I handle that. Either training as well as accounting for you on a monthly basis, or training in a quarterly. I connect with you quarterly. So I do have options for that. If you want to connect with a different pro advisor, there is a pro advisor tool that allows you to put in your zip code and search for someone close to you. Now, there are trainings that QuickBooks offers that are highly expensive. I've seen the trainings, they're like $600. The webinars, they'll give you the training that you need, but it's $600. I don't charge a fraction of that. And plus the training that I provide is specific to your business. So I get to know your business, and then I provide you with a workflow. So that is something, if you're interested in training, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I will put that information in the chat. Anonymous, how would you input charitable donations, either with cash or inventory? That is a good accounting question that I can answer or do a deep dive with you if you reach out to me on LinkedIn. But essentially, as a donation, that would be income that would be added to your QuickBooks, and I'm assuming you're a nonprofit. But if they are giving you a in-kind donation, such as inventory, then that's something that will show up on your balance sheet that you would need to enter appropriately. And I would reach out to an accountant or a pro advisor, such as myself, that can assist you with adding that to your QuickBooks. If you have the Simple Start and the Payroll Core, does it come with reporting? Is reporting module a separate cost? No, all Simple Start and Payroll comes with accounting, or excuse me, reporting, Albert. It's not a separate cost. Cliff Notes. Thank you, Marshall. Cliff Notes. Thank you. I couldn't get it. So that tells you how long since I've been in college. I've been on a campus recently, but I haven't been in college in a long time. Thank you. I appreciate that. Viola, are there discounts to purchase QuickBooks at early stages of business? Yes. So if you go onto their website and you go and download the system yourself, there is a 50% discount for the first 3 months, and then it's full price after the first 3 months. But if you connect with a pro advisor such as myself, we can give you a deep discount of 30% for the year, and then it goes to the regular price. Yes, I will put my contact, Joe, I will put my contact information in the chat in just a moment. Okay, Maya, how much do you charge for your service for QuickBooks Pro assistance for fixing and training? So for training, I do charge $175 for the training. And then for the quarterly review, it's $100 per quarter. So that's with the anticipation that you, after the training, you're categorizing them yourself, you're, running your QuickBooks based on the training that was provided. And then on a quarterly basis that we check in, make sure you're doing it appropriately. I do have to say, after a year, my clients go off on their own, or they acquire me on a monthly basis because their business has grown so much that they prefer to have me do their accounting. Now for cleanup, it depends on the type of cleanup that I'm doing. If it is that you are downloading your bank feeds into QuickBooks and the transactions are in there, then it is $75 per month that needs to be cleaned up. If it is that you cannot connect the bank account and I'm pulling these from your bank statements, which means that I have to take them off of a PDF or an Excel file or something to that effect, upload it into QuickBooks, categorize, then provide you with the reports and meet with you, then it is $125 per month to clean it up. And you will, I know that seems a little steep. One, I promise you it's well worth it. And then secondly, you won't find another accounting firm that charges at that rate. Mark, can you bill credit card fee on the invoice? Yes. So if you anticipate that the individual or the client is going to pay you by invoice, or excuse me, by credit card, then you would go ahead and put that fee on the invoice. What I do is put a disclaimer or a little message down in the message area of the invoice saying that please pay by ACH bank transfer, or if you choose to pay by or by credit card, you will incur a fee. And that's where I put the credit card amount there, calculate 2.9%, and they can make the payment then. If you do not put that on the invoice initially, again, that's when you'll have to go back to the client and request the fee that they owe you. DeZilva, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. How can we deal with nonprofit customers or no profit customers? So if it's nonprofit, you do, and you have a nonprofit business, then you would set it up as a nonprofit business. But I'm not clear on the question. No profit customers, if you're not billing them or you're doing some type of work for them without receiving payment, you can list them as customers and provide them with the invoice with a zero balance. So I'm not sure if you want to clarify the question, that would be great. Kunli, can I also get a copy of this recording sent to me? My email, you can, up at the top right corner, it is being streamed. So you can copy that link right there. And actually, I'll put that link in the chat right now, just in case, and that way you can copy it. See here. So YouTube link.
Jetta, when you put the credit card fee in your invoice, will QuickBooks charge for that too?
No, they will not. Yeah, and I think that if I had a complaint about QuickBooks, that will be one. So hopefully they can fix that soon, because it is annoying. It should, to me, it should be automatic, something that should be done. That if I click, that, credit card, that they should be able to pay or have the fee within the invoice. All right. So Kunli, the link is in the chat. You can copy it from there. What is the process to begin working with you? How long is the QuickBooks training? You can connect with me on LinkedIn. The training is about almost 2 hours long, but it will include free email support for the quarter. And so that is how you would connect with me. Isabella, is $170 per hour, or how is it? It is $175 flat for the training. So it's not per hour. Okay, so that's all the questions that we have in the Q&A area. I did put the YouTube link in the chat area. What I'll also put is my contact information for myself. So for LinkedIn, it is Jada A. Harris, because there's several Jada Harris's in LinkedIn, but it's Jada A. Harris. And my email. Jada. Oh gosh, Jada at Score.
Yeah, I did give that out,
Oh, okay. So someone said that
data.harris@scorevolunteer.org.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I got it here again. And then let's see. Let me see if I see any questions in here. Great information, Jada. This is from Albert. I will be reaching out to you later. Okay, great, Albert. Thank you. You have a great day too. Did you see any other questions in there,
No, I
Larissa?
didn't see anything much in the chat box,
Okay.
Like you suggest that people were introducing themselves and so on.
Perfect. I want this to be a networking opportunity because this is something that you can connect with other business owners here in the Houston area, so on and so forth. Where's LinkedIn information? It's right there in the chat, Maya. Cabrina, as a startup, I appreciate this. Thank you and have a great holiday. You have a great holiday as well. I completely understand.
Thank you, Jada, and thanks everybody for attending. Have a wonderful holiday, and we will be doing more webinars coming up in January, but hopefully our 3-part seminar series will be starting up this Friday. For anybody that is starting a new business, that's a good introduction.
Yes.
Because it not only gives you all the stuff for the starting the business, but also talks about a business plan and also sources and funding and legal entity, choice of legal entity. So hopefully people will attend. Good work.
I've taken that class. It is in person, and this one's in person, right?
Yeah, no, it's all webinar.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And guys, that is a perfect opportunity for you to understand the A to the Z of business ownership.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.